another one.
Yeah.
Brad Treliving, running the Calgary Flames in a raucous arena as he gets ready.
Practice behind him, it sounds like.
For the season opener in Colorado. Brad, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. How meaningful is it to start the year against the team that you saw last season? I have to anticipate there's some extra juice in that game on Thursday.
Yeah, the schedule maker's got a good sense of humor, but certainly, hey, you look at the schedule. There's no easy nights, and obviously that's first and foremost it's opening night, so there's always an added air of excitement. I know our group is excited to get back to work here, and obviously the Colorado team we saw last year, it's a really good team, and it's a team that I think's even gotten better over the summer. So certainly it'll be a big challenge for us. But we're excited. We're excited to get our season started, and obviously the way it ended last year, it's another layer of intrigue, if you will. But will be certainly a big challenge for us. But we're excited to get the season started.
With all that's transpired during this camp, is this just the time where you guys want to get ready and play some games? Like enough of this preseason, and enough of this talking to agents. Can we just play some hockey?
Yeah, it seems like it's been a long camp. They usually do, and you're excited to get camp started. And we were remarking today when you're sort of down now a couple of days before the start of the season. There's a lot of anticipation. So, yeah, I think I speak for the players that they're we got another practice here tomorrow, but then it'll be they're eager to get going. And you go through a summer of preparation. You go through whatever we've been 3 weeks since we got started here with the rookie camps and into the main camp. So it's that time. It's time to get going and get live bullets going, and we're certainly excited for it.
Brad, I remember when the Johnny Gaudreau negotiation took place a few years ago, he missed basically all of camp, and statistically it was his worst season. Matthew Tkachuk did not miss most of camp. In your opinion, is he going to be there for a long enough stretch for him to maybe not look like a guy who missed camp? Are you positive on that front?
Well, you're always, anytime you miss some time, you're always concerned about that. I know Matthew, a couple of things. Matthew came in real good shape. He'd been skating, albeit not with NHL players, but he'd been participating in practices. And what I mean by that is, there was some bumping going on, and he was doing drills. It wasn't like he was skating on his own. So for the time that he missed, he was involved in practice skating with London. But certainly it's, that's not NHL pace and what have you. The good news is we've gotten him into a handful of practices. He played a preseason game, I guess it would have been last Saturday here against Edmonton, and Billy played him a lot, to get him up to speed. So anytime that you don't have, the full camp behind you, there's always a little bit of concern, but Matthew came in, he's worked hard. The practices he's been in, and then obviously getting that game in, I think was a big thing, talking to him after, just, getting into as close to NHL pace as you can getting into some, competitive situations where you're getting bumped and you're bumping into people. Those are things you can't replicate. So, we were anxious to get it done. We got it done when we got it done, and it allowed him to get some time in, but I'm confident he'll be ready to go here come Thursday.
When you guys locked up Gaudreau in 2016, some folks raised their eyebrows. Wow, an RFA getting that kind of money, which seems kind of ludicrous given the summer that we just went through with RFAs. And at the time, I said, I agreed with it. You lock up a guy in his prime as opposed to playing for years on the decline. The one thing, however, that scares me is that a lot of these RFAs are going through it at 21, 22 years old, where agents are telling them, you got to sit out a preseason, you got to have a tough negotiations because that's the way these things go. Did you find that any of that was tough, and did you learn anything dealing with a now 21-year-old who is your highest paid player?
I don't think, I think it was if you can call it a normal negotiation, it's a normal negotiation. We knew coming into this summer, as you guys probably spoke a lot about those group of players, and it was an interesting spring and summer, as you had so many top-level people coming out of entry level, and there was this evolving market that everybody was trying to figure out. So You know, where it ended up, I think we all ended up in a good place. You know, number one, we wanted to get the player in here, and when you talk about missing time, he missed a few days of training camp, but you know, we as we just talked about, we were able to get him here for, you know, the second week of training camp. He was able to get into a preseason game. He was able to be around his teammates. We had a team building event this past weekend. He was able to participate in. And then the money is sort of, you know, where our market has gone. And you see what's happened here. We're happy with the deal. Matthew's happy with the deal. It gets, you know, our core, if you will, locked in. Certainly now for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
With Matthew signing a 3-year deal. So we're happy with the end result. Sometimes these things take longer than you want them to, but it was a very amicable negotiation. And at the end of the day, the good news is we all ended up in the spot we wanted to, and now we can focus on the season ahead.
Brad, I try not to get carried away with preseason numbers, but I am weak-minded, and I constantly get carried away by preseason numbers. David Rittich saw 60 shots in the preseason, stopped 57 of them. Where's he at, and is he ready? Because I know sometimes it's difficult from going to the backup with little hope and pressure and aspirations to stepping into the spotlight in a way. It's a bit of a different world. Where is he at ahead of the season?
Well, a couple things with that, Sid. I would agree with you. I don't put a whole lot of stock into preseason stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, as much as you want everybody to play well in the preseason, the players individually are getting what they need to get. You know, you find yourself every year, you know, more disappointed than anything else. You want guys to be dug in, and the reality is, you know, they're getting their legs underneath them. So I don't put any real stock into performance necessarily or statistics in the preseason. What I would say, David's in a really good place. I think your second point is the more important point, and that is when you go from where David's been now. The one thing I would say last year is he wasn't in a pure backup role. You know, David actually played more games for us last year, and had a great record, carried the ball, you know, for a good chunks of the season. Had a good partnership with Mike Smith. So I think that season that he had last year and the number of games he played primarily really sets him up for this year. And again, we've got Cam Talbot here. So Cam's here. He's an experienced guy. He's a veteran goaltender. He's had success in the league, and he's going to be pushing David. So I look at it as a partnership that we're going to have. But certainly we're expecting big things from David. He came in terrific shape. He did all the things that he needed to do over the course of the summer to prepare to have himself a good season. I think he's in a great place mentally. He's in a great place physically. And I think between the two of them, they're going to push each other. They're going to push each other. And our hope is that the competition, the internal competition they have, is going to benefit the team in terms of getting good goaltending each and every night. So certainly happy where we are going into the season, but as we know, the preseason is one thing, the regular season is something else, but very happy where both goaltenders are at right now.
Speaking about experience, when you got Milan Lucic, some folks were scratching their head given his obvious struggles in Edmonton. We talked to you about what you wanted out of him, but what have you seen from him in his limited time with this group on your team?
Yeah, really getting, just for me personally, just getting to know Milan. And what I've seen more than anything else is just a real serious approach, a real professional approach to his work. He's in early, he stays late. The practice habits, you see all those sort of things that you want, you know, to continue to rub off on our team. And certainly we said at the time of the deal, it was a deal that we felt in both situations with James here in Milan and Edmonton, both players probably are needing of a change of scenery. And we're hopeful it works out, obviously, from our end, but you're hopeful that, you know, everybody gets what they want out of the deal. And but I can't say enough about just the workman-like approach that Milan's here. He's quickly fit in with our group, become very popular with our group. As I said, we had some time just as a group over the weekend to spend some time together, and everybody sort of, get together just away from the rink and spend a couple of days together doing some team building activities. But I just noticed a guy who's, you know, very serious about getting his game back. Certainly put in the work this summer, has come in terrific condition. And again, has been already I'd say a strong voice, a support voice in our room. Again, he's a player that's won a Stanley Cup, eager to have success, eager to get back to the playoffs, and he's been just a great fit. And like everything else, that's we're just starting our partnership together. But I've been real happy and really impressed with the work Milan's done.
One quick follow-up on that, and I know the game has tried to get away from the enforcer, as it were, and he has played at a very high skill level, but did that have something to do with the addition of Lucic, and did you feel maybe at times over the last couple of years that your skill players may be being taken advantage of on the ice?
Well, I think one of the things that Milan brings is a presence. There's, that's he's had that to the level that very few have had in our league. But as you said, our game now is so much about speed. It's you got to be able to play. You're not looking for players that are playing 2 and 3 minutes a night. But no matter how much our game evolves, there's still that that quality of having people feel comfortable on the ice, and trying to have an opposition feel uncomfortable. And Milan brings that. Now, you also have to combine that with being a regular contributor. But I think obviously the presence that he brings, and again, it's not about fighting or anything like that. It's about a comfort level that he brings to our group. And I look at our team, and like I said, we can talk about the physical side of things. We've got people that I think very much can play that style. We had during the regular season, when you maybe see that even more, there's not fighting in the playoffs. The game becomes heavier, it's tighter, and maybe it's more, there's a lot less room. But I think our team showed over the course of 82 games through the regular season that we can sort of match up in any sort of game. But bringing Milan's presence and bringing, what I think that he's done over the course of his career is going to be an ingredient that we wanted in our team, and we're looking forward to having him.
Brad, we appreciate the time, as always, this close to the season. As a fan of Canadian hockey generally, I love that you guys have a purpose. You guys know where you want to go. You're obviously completely unsatisfied with how it ended, and the group is intact. I'm excited for you this year. Thanks for joining us, Brad, and it's going to be fun watching. All the best.
You bet. Thanks again, guys.